Hello friends, welcome to this video, welcome to this little cozy creative corner of the internet. Today I thought I'd talk about a couple of things. I wanted to talk about energy flow and the ebbs and flows of creativity, and acknowledging that our own creativity needs different things from us at different seasons or different times of the year. So talking about energy and ebbs and flows in creative outputs, I also wanted to show you this lovely book I've got. It's really nice. It's called Folkish, and it's all about contemporary artists inspired by folk art. So I think you'll like that. And what else want to do? I thought I'd take you back through some sketchbooks. My desk at the moment is bananas. It's covered in sketchbooks. So I thought I'd just show you what I'm doing on my desk at the moment. And in the previous video, I showed you some paintings that I had started to work on, and I've worked a little bit more on them, but I put them away for about 2 or 3 weeks, so I haven't looked at them for weeks, and I thought I'd dig them out and take you with me as I have my first peek back at them since I created them, and just to see where I think they're at and whether I think they're finished. So that's what we've got planned for today. So this book is called Folkish. It was published in 2025 by Victionary Press out of Hong Kong, and it brings together about 30 different artists, contemporary artists, who are inspired by folklore and folk art. And in the preface it says, "Throughout human history, storytelling has been our constant companion, weaving through time and connecting generations to those before as well as the next. It is one of the many reasons why the allure of folklore remains strong today, reminding us of our shared humanity and the wisdom embedded in the tales of yore." So this book brings together artists from right across the world who are inspired by folk tales and are using folklore to inspire contemporary art. And I just think it's lovely. And so the reason I thought I'd talk to you about ebbs and flows in energy and creativity is because this time of year, every year for years and years, I hit a bit of a wall in terms of my creative output. It's like I just need to stop trying to create anything and refill my well. I always just get really sort of tired and slow at this season of the year, and I used to really worry about that. I'm a professional artist. My livelihood depends on me earning money through art, and I used to think that I had to push through these seasons where I wasn't being as productive, that I had to kind of force, that I had to keep working and ignore my natural energy instincts. That couldn't be further from the truth. Now that I'm 50, I've actually realised that pushing, forcing, trying to work against my natural energy inclinations is just really unhelpful and really counterproductive. So what I tend to do in summer is I have a sort of summer slowdown where I expect a lot less of myself, where I don't force myself to create anything of any significance. I spend much more time reading, resting, walking in nature, sleeping, journaling. So doing things that are tending to my creativity, that are helping me, that are keeping that creative conversation alive. I'm not abandoning my creativity, but I'm just allowing it to be much less productive, giving it much more space to run around, much more space to let ideas percolate to the surface, to just see what happens if I slow down. And I think I've shared the idea with you before of the fertile void. In fact, it was probably this time last year, the fertile void, which is really the Gestalt therapy idea that actually pauses the gaps in between things can be an important place of fertility, of ideas, of nourishment, and that actually sometimes the space in between is a really potent place for our creativity. This is how bananas my desk currently is. I've got a pile of sketchbooks on it. I'm really just going on a bit of a treasure hunt back through old sketchbooks, reconnecting with old friends, really, thinking with my current eyes, what do I find interesting? What are the things that I like to revisit or reimagine? What am I noticing? So it's a sort of process of reconnecting with my creativity. And this is one of the reasons I think keeping a sketchbook is so helpful, because it's like a catalogue of our own art that I can look back through and see things that I perhaps didn't see at the time. So I've got years of sketchbooks, and so I can really use them to help me and to support me in my current creativity, really. So I'm going to spend a good chunk of time going back through sketchbooks, seeing what I notice, seeing what's interesting to me, seeing if there's anything here that I'd like to revisit, and spend some good quality time reflecting, thinking, using this massive big pile of sketchbooks as source material, as inspiration, as a way for me to reconnect to my creativity and just see if there are any threads that I have left unpicked up that I would like to pick up now in this moment. So I'm going to spend a bit of time having a mooch back through memory lane and just seeing what notes I can take and what is calling to me now. So I've got these paintings here to show you. They're all wrapped up in glassine paper. I wrapped them up in glassine paper and then I put them on my plan chest under some heavy books probably about 3 weeks ago, and I forgot they were there. So I haven't looked at them since. So this is exciting for me. Ooh. Well, do you know what? They're more finished than I thought they were going to be. So since I last showed you these paintings, I've added in quite a bit of gold paint and more detail. I probably spent another 2 or 3 painting sessions on them. Ooh, I like them. Do you know what? When I was painting them, I had a really lovely memory. It's come back to me. When I was little, my mum used to give me her button box on a big wooden tray, and I could play around with all the buttons. And as I was painting these paintings, that memory came back to me, and I can't have thought of that memory for years and years. It's so interesting, isn't it? Where we get our visual references, ideas. I really thought, oh my goodness, most of my paintings look like they've just got a pile of buttons on them. Isn't that funny? Oh, it's funny to me anyway. I've just had a thought. Do you know what? I think I've got my mum's button box somewhere in the loft. And I think I've got the wooden tray. So these paintings are nearly there, you know. Some of the edges need tightening a little bit. I might go over some of the gold again, just to make it really rich. But I think they're fairly much here. I like them. I had a lot of fun painting them. Oh my goodness, now I've thought about this button thing. I'm just going to see buttons in everything that I create from now on. I mean, when I was painting them, I wasn't thinking, oh, I must add in some buttons. But as I painted them, it was just the memory of the bright round circles of colour against a sort of dark brown, rich background that reminded me of that cute little childhood memory. Look what I've got. I've just found my mum's button box. It was at the back of a cupboard. It was really dusty. Oh my goodness me. This brings back some memories. You know, there's some really old buttons in here. There's some buttons that I think are mother of pearl. They were probably my grandfather's buttons. Buttons used to be a real thing, didn't you? You used to cut off the buttons of a dress, you can sew them onto another one. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is such a lovely tin. Look, I even found the exact tray. So I just used to love arranging little coloured buttons. I used to arrange them in colour order. It was just, you know, a distraction for a child in the 1970s. I feel compelled to say that obviously buttons are a choking hazard for small children. Do you know what I really like coming back to a painting? Quite a few weeks after I've painted it, I see it with a much clearer eye. It's like I've got a little bit more objectivity and a bit more space. When I'm really close to a painting, as in having just painted it, I can't see the wood for the trees. Whereas actually, when I put it away and then come back to it, they often surprise me and delight me. Or sometimes I think, oh no, actually that needs loads more work. But here I'm actually really liking the combinations and the colours, and I'm actually really liking that association with buttons that just sort of surfaced as I was painting. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for still being here and watching along, and thank you so much for your wonderful support and encouragement. You're really lovely. It's a really lovely corner of the internet, and I'm very, very grateful for you being so nice.